All right, so explain where we are.
Welcome to Jones Fieldhouse. So there's our host right there. Coach Williams. Hey man, I'm great. How you doing? You look great. Good to see you. You okay? Yeah.
Graham, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So we'd only greet you with Maryland royalty, and that's why national championship winning Coach Gary Williams here to greet us.
So what do you guys remember from the first time you both met way back when?
Wow. Well, we went in 2007. We became the Under Armour school, and I think that was important for the state of Maryland, not just for Maryland or Under Armour, because we showed we could do something that not a lot of people could do. Kevin had played football here. That helps. I played basketball here, and so he's one of the few football guys I ever liked. It's like
basketball coaches are tough. They're tough crowds. So.
He was crazy as a football player because they put all the crazy guys on special teams, and Kevin was on special teams.
Right.
It's true, right?
I would have taken a little more athleticism to do more than that, but yeah, it served me just fine.
No, but it was really good, and I always admired Kevin because he started from nowhere. For me, to know Kevin and to have a chance to watch it all happen is pretty cool.
This is Cole Fieldhouse. This was a basketball arena, so that was I think it was one of the brilliant things from the school. We were looking and trying to, football needed an indoor facility. They were missing, like days like today, they're trying to have practice and they can't. So stepping up to be a part of building this facility, it was really, really very important. So
the student section was on that side, and the noise would roll up and come right down the other side. It was unbelievable. That side, there was 4,000 students. I'm sure Kevin sat there. There was 4,000 students behind both benches.
I was sneaking in the back door.
Yeah. Okay.
How many games did you win here, Coach?
I don't know.
So the first Black National Championship, Texas Western.
Texas Western Kentucky game, probably the most historical game ever in college basketball. 1966, I was here, sitting right up there.
Yeah. Elvis Presley's played in this building before, so plus the number of games that Coach won here before, basically putting the impetus by winning games here to build a...
The last year we played here was 2002, which is when we won the national championship. We went undefeated here. The last game, they had every living basketball player here lined up after the game, and a ball was passed down, to everyone, and it was pretty cool.
You were talking about the early days of Under Armour and you being a supporter. Why was that important to you back then?
We had to separate ourselves from other people, and I thought that's what did it. Under Armour was relatively new in the basketball scene, and we all just felt that this was a great way to go because Kevin was a Maryland guy. He built his business in Maryland when he could have built it. Quite a few other states wanted him, and he chose to stay here. I would have never left where I was to come back here if I didn't go to school here and play basketball here. So we had some things in common, about why this is important to us.
You guys ever talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about the theme earlier of, I think people appreciate those who love where they're from, because you should. And somebody's got to do something about it, and somebody's got to stand up and fight. And so this was one of the things of being able to take a powerhouse like what Coach Williams had built Maryland basketball into, and having that validity for us to have his players out there. Now going through and building those early shoes too, now that was process. Yeah. So getting through, and he did, again, what was in the best nature, but helped us get a lot better quickly too.
Does anything stand out to you from the early days of working with Under Armour?
Yeah, I was, remember walking in with the Under Armour shoes, and we were with Nike before. We were Nike Elite because we had won the national championship. And I said, this is what we're wearing, and I don't want to hear anything. That was about it. That was it. That was it. And seriously, it wasn't, I was making good money, but it wasn't about the money that Kevin generously paid me. It was about the fact that I realized the only way we could get this thing where we wanted to go was to do that. So
you need an edge. So take a shot when you're like in this kind of position. That's what being scrappy is there's a process other people run, but sometimes you gotta make some leapfrog bets too, and that's what Coach gave us the opportunity to do.
In what ways is Under Armour now integrated in the university?
I mean, it's a living lab for us, you know, with just being, 20 miles down the road, the ability to have access to athletes at this level, football, basketball, baseball, like every sport that basically we play in, that's the wheelhouse of what makes Under Armour an authentic sports house brand. We get to come down here and test it on the best of the best, So we'll start with at the collegiate level. We'll then bring in our pros, and whether it's Jordan Spieth in golf or Curry, Justin Jefferson in football, but we'll have these guys actually wear testing and working the product through, and that's what we do with Gary's teams as well. And the players like it.
How about your perspective on the NIL impact of having Under Armour backing Maryland?
Under Armour is an attraction for players. When things get to be pretty even, in terms of what school's going to pay a guy or whatever, then they start looking at other things. And to have Under Armour where it's not just we have great basketball shoes, which they do have, but we have all this other stuff that some of the other companies don't have.
You remember what it was like playing here back in the day?
I was like a classic preferred walk-on. At the time of coming back, is that like there was something going on with my dad. And so I didn't know exactly what it was, but my mom was like, where are you going to go to school? And I was wanted to go think about going to Alabama, which they won a national championship when they were there too. So everybody gets a ring, I think, by the way. So, but there was something more authentic about coming home, staying home. Grew up here, high school here. Came back, went to college here. It all just kind of fit.
You remember the Eric concussion and then deciding to put him in the iconic ad?
The two are not related, but I hope it had something to do with, he's a beast. There's not a lot of human beings that look like Eric Abagu. When you get into the realm of football though, and that's where I was, is that I couldn't afford to, pay my friend Eddie George. It's like Adidas is gonna offer him $1 million. Like, Kev, I love you, but I'm like, Eddie, take the $1 million, but give me $500,000 of it invested in Under Armour. He's like, I'm all good. So it was going like my buddy Eric, who was like, 5th round draft pick with the Jets. But who looks every bit of Tarzan and then some. This place is pretty incredible. I mean, you come in, the athletes here are one for nothing, and it's interesting to see how it's gone from sort of the arms race it was to facilities for such a long period of time, to now what matters is the amount of NIL dollars that you have, which is nice, but this is a facility that, you could say, look at Texas A&M's new facility or this school, that side of the arms race isn't quite as severe. This is as fine a facility as there is anywhere.
What were the facilities like, or the weight room when you were here?
Oh my God, it was awful. So it was like, it was this old Fieldhouse was our locker rooms that we have. They just built the Gossett team house. So we had a game day, but it was, we shared it with like baseball and lacrosse, and like it was not very excellent when I was here. So every brand starts from some kind of scrappy startup story, but like ours, I don't know, it feels a little bit different. It feels a little raw, it feels a little more edge to it. I'd like to think there's an aspect that sort of is described and articulated through the Under Armour story that makes me really proud.